But I have a good opening question to ask you guys, which is, how do you guys
Let's
handle
welcome
spice?
Tommy to the cast.
Oh yeah, Tommy.
Johnny is moving right now, so he is unable to join us.
Unfortunately, he's playing Oregon Trail in real life.
Yeah, literally.
He's moving our
I
southern...
hope he plays it better than we've played it.
It's bad, yeah. He's moving from the Southern Satellite Studio, sadly no more. But we're opening up a Western Satellite Studio in Oregon.
We
so.
we took all your support and we've invested it in a Western studio.
Well, yeah, so we can calibrate
a lot of these LA
continent.
cats that a lot of these celebrities that wanted to come on the podcast. We wanted to give them a West Coast option to come in studio.
Right, like Joe Rogan.
I don't like him. He's not going to come on.
Mary Tyler Moore.
I think we're getting
Obama.
JFK, actually.
Wow, too soon, dude.
Anyways, this is the Hot Wing episode. So.
Yeah, so how do you guys do with spice in general?
Generally. What's your history with spice?
Yeah, how are you on a scale from 1 to being able to handle spice, Tom?
It's kind of like a wild card. I love spice, and I can do really spicy, but then sometimes I'm fine, and then sometimes I'm not fine the next day. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes.
Interesting. And how do you handle...
you think it's a next day problem, Tommy?
Oh, absolutely.
It can be,
I mean,
yeah.
This pain's just temporary. Tomorrow's pain's forever.
That's one way to
Like,
deal
I
with
usually don't have a next day problem with spice. It's usually just the day of, like, the in the moment.
How do you do with, like, really hot stuff, though? Really hot.
I've had
blazing.
I've had extreme challenges, and I do lose my mind a little bit, so that's why I'm excited about this.
But you already lose your mind normally, so...
When I was younger, though, I couldn't handle spice at all.
Yeah, I
and
couldn't either.
I've upped my...
I agree. I'm the same
what
way.
would you call it? Tolerance.
I love spicy stuff, but at a certain point, it just becomes pain, and you're just in another mode.
What's the
then,
spiciest thing you've ever had?
Probably, actually, over this past winter, I went to a Thai food place, and they normally say, do you want spicy or extra spicy? And then if you say that's not spicy enough, they say, okay, well, we can give it to you 1 out of 20. And then you say, well, how hot is 5? And they say it's really hot. And if you get
their scales make no sense, right?
If you get the 5, it turns out that I couldn't finish it. It was so hot. I had to just stick my tongue in ice. And it went up to 20, and then we found out that it actually went up to 60, their scale.
That's insane.
So apparently I can't do as hot as some people, but I know for a fact that 5 out of 20 was really fucking hot. Like, that was still pretty damn hot. So, yeah, I can do pretty hot, but once you get into those stratospheres of heat, it sort of becomes a slightly different ballgame.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about to do here. So we have
I've had the most intimidation
heats.
in terms of spice from a Thai restaurant.
Yeah, the Thai
I
restaurants
went to one
know how
in
to do it.
Queens,
Yeah.
and it was basically
That would be
like
a good place,
they had 3
yeah.
colored stickers, and they said, green sticker, you're okay. Like, anybody's okay. Yellow sticker, they said, like, stay away.
Yeah,
Like,
it's going to
me,
get
they
real.
were like, don't. It's getting real at yellow.
Yeah.
And red sticker, they said, we just don't recommend you do that because we're gonna watch you like cry in the corner of our restaurant, and like that's not fun for anyone.
Yeah, you have to be really in it. You're in the scene. You're like tapped into that scene.
Anyways, me and my girlfriend decided to get a red.
And how'd that work out?
We shared it, and it was intense.
Yeah.
It was a group of like 6 people, so I just became quiet and just like went through a whole roll of napkins, just like blowing my nose.
That's about to happen now
Go
because
silent, yeah.
we have, if you're familiar at all with Buffalo Wild Wings, we have the Asian Zing, the Mango Habanero, and then the Blazing, which is
Buffalo's hottest.
And it's recommended to not do that. And I have done it once in the past, and it was...
The fact that you survived it makes me more okay with it.
It's we'll get there.
In terms of just like what is the value of like challenging yourself with hot spice and trying to have a conversation like the show Hot Ones, for example.
Yeah, well, I think they nailed it, right?
What do you dig about that?
Well, I think it sort of strips away the artifice of normal conversation, and it does it in a way that's not the traditional. Because the only other way to really do that is something where
the late night show where they make you like juggle with a snake around your neck.
Yeah,
and then they're like.
Or Let's Get Drunk, which is not a program format other than Thunk Tank Podcast. So we're combining all of that.
One of the first, right?
Yeah, we're combining all of that.
Absolutely.
We're finally breaking the mold.
Drunk History sort of had their version of that.
Yes, where Drunk History meets Hot Ones.
No, there's definitely. I love watching Hot Ones, especially when it's a celebrity that I know in a different context.
Yeah, totally.
Like Neil deGrasse Tyson or something.
Yeah, you get such a different layer of them.
Yeah,
it's peeled back, right?
My theory about it would be that we exert a lot of mental energy to portray like a version of ourselves to the world.
Especially if you're a celebrity or
a politician,
a known personality.
I want to see Andrew Yang go on Hot Ones.
That would be
that
sick.
would be he would win for sure if he did that. You know?
Yeah, because you imagine somebody like Trump on Hot Ones? That would just be sad.
He would start crying. I don't think he could handle that much pain.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So I think for most people, if they're holding up some like fake edifice of like who they are,
right?
When you're distracted by how much like the spice makes you just 100%, or let's say 95% deal with the pain in your throat and your tongue and everything.
You can't focus on your bullshit persona.
You stop holding up the persona, you know? You just become whatever the fuck you are.
You got to roll with it, and if you can't,
and I think it leads to a lot of
really
great,
baby.
honest like kind of interviews like that.
Yeah.
I think Hot Ones like really figured some shit out.
Yeah,
and I love
agree.
that it's a YouTube show too. It's like
Fuck you, networks.
It kept the bullshit of the networks from creeping in. You know.
Yeah, I mean that's the beautiful thing about that type of format, like podcasts. So we encourage you to like, share, and imbibe. I'm going with that hashtag now.
That's not bad.
Like, share, and imbibe.
Let's get it.
All right.
Let's get it
trending. As
all
they
right.
say.
So are we ready to dive in with these?
Anything else intro wise, or
no? I think
so. Just format wise, so you guys
We'll
know,
preface the rest.
we have 3 different categories of wings plus some French fries, but you probably don't care about those.
I care about those.
So
certainly do.
we're gonna start with the Asian Zing, and so that. I don't know, what percentage of the Thunk Tank audience would get turned on by hearing eating sounds like asthma, type shit?
Not enough of
Not
them.
enough. So we're gonna eat it off air. We're gonna hit pause on the recording,
And then immediately,
and then we're
come
gonna
back.
immediately hit go. And the format is going to be that we each we each have a question for each category of wing.
But the last one we will do live so that you can.
Yeah, the
listen to us
last
die.
wing we're going to eat on air. We'll try to keep the eating sounds off. Like let's just like eat not into the mic, obviously.
Yeah,
And
we'll figure it out.
just because I figure for that one, like the reaction of coming up, will be kind of
It'll
important.
be a scene. Yeah. All right.
And we'll each ask a question, and I don't know. Let's just see where this goes. I'm a little bit scared.
You should be.
All right.
Because you're on wing tactics.
Also, I'm a little bit.
That's another story we'll tell later.
That's a Scare Tactics reference.
About how we may.
Scare Tactics is on Netflix, by the way, and they officially submitted my name to try and get me on Scare Tactics.
Luke may or may not be submitted as a candidate to Scare Tactics.
And I've
We'll
already
keep you posted,
contacted
folks.
Scare Tactics so I could double agent them when they try to get me.
Hit pause, Luke. Hit pause. Go ahead. Doesn't activate anything.
Also, I'm kind of hungry, so let's eat these Asian Zing
all right.
wings.
We'll be back. We'll be back un momento.
See you. Well, for you in your car listening to us, we'll see you in like 1 second.
That's
But
pretty cool. That's like some
it'll
Star
be
Trek
like 5
shit.
minutes of us eating some shit. Time capsule. All right, bye.
We're starting.
All right, and we're back post Asian Zing. We're here.
That was a good 1 second, I must say.
I gotta say, I was hungry, so like this is really just hitting my stomach well.
That was a good warm up.
for now.
Not to, I think I was saying off air when we were chomping on those. Nice, like you said, crushed red pepper type vibe.
I think it's basically just like a sweet Asian type, like stir fry type sauce, but with crushed red pepper.
You just feel the heat on the end of your tongue.
It's
which
subtle.
which is nice.
I had it the other night, and it was a little more spicy, but that's because, I ate at the restaurant.
So it was hot.
Well, the food was hot, but I mean, like the sauce was sort of like all more coating it. This sauce was a little dried off, I think.
Yeah, right.
So like
That
there
makes
was
sense.
less of the crushed red pepper going on.
Right.
But
Still pretty good.
um,
So
yeah, I pretty much feel normal. So
do you have a question for us?
yeah, I'm trying to think of which one to use for round 1 because I want to save a good one for round.
Absolutely.
Well, do you have a question?
All right.
Yeah, sure.
If you go first, I'll
simple
think of which
question.
one to put.
You guys eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, right?
Allegedly.
No, what do you mean? Like I have, but I don't
You
anymore.
wouldn't eat peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. No, I must eat them, yes.
I don't know. You eat one. How do you do it? Jelly on one side, peanut butter on the other, or do you like a civilized person?
That's a very
I
debatable
actually have a good
topic.
story about that because like
All right.
Why?
well because of your brother,
Oh, that's
our
checks out.
co-host Johnny Genie.
Johnny Genie.
When I was in like middle school, he saw a P&J sandwich that my mom had made for me, and he was like, "What the fuck is this?" He's like, "You got the jelly on one side of the bread; it's soaking through; it ruins the whole sandwich." He's
Absolutely.
like, "You got to put peanut butter on both sides, jelly in the middle, and then the sandwich retains its structural integrity."
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, you got mush. It's
just
no good.
mush. Yeah,
I agree fully, and also I feel as if the jelly is more of a sort of coating. It's a complement to the sandwich. The peanut butter should be the solid base. I want more peanut butter than I want jelly.
Peanut butter is the
jelly's so
healthier
sweet.
thing to have.
I wouldn't want
think.
more jelly than peanut butter. That's for sure.
You want more jelly than peanut butter?
I wouldn't want
Oh,
more
okay.
jelly.
That would be a weird sandwich.
It's just a savage
You ever eat
way
that
to
like
live.
cream cheese and jelly like sandwich?
Yeah, no.
That was like popular when I was in like elementary school.
Yeah.
Like my parents would make that for us a bunch,
I think that's a type
and
of
I would
bagel
always feel
people
weird
get.
about it. Like I just got kind of nauseous.
Well, how do you feel about that? Like
It's probably old
the,
expired
the
cream cheese.
fluffer nutter
Yeah.
stuff, the white one.
Oh, I hate Johnny was a big
I
fluffer
see
nutter.
people
guy.
eating
I don't know
that,
what
and
that
I'd
is.
just be like, it's like the marshmallow fluff.
Oh, that's
kinda.
just sugar.
It's peanut butter with.
I'd
It's
see kids eating that. I was like,
What is a marshmallow,
is
by the
that?
way?
I don't know.
That's a whole
Like
nother can.
it doesn't grow out of the ground, right?
I think it's whipped white shame.
It's whipped future fatness and diabetes.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
I
'cause
saw a
what
guy
is
at the
it?
gym today, and his leg was basically one solid like
Marshmallow?
shape,
What do you mean?
or a marshmallow. It may as well have been a marshmallow.
He just had.
I just meant like from
elephant
his
trunk
knee
legs?
down to his ankle was just a straight line
Oh, he had
with
no,
like blobbage.
not even cankles.
Ew.
Just
Yeah, like past cankles, and I just thought, man, I'm just guessing you eat too much sugar, like
yeah.
that kind of fatness where like it's not just like you're putting on weight; it's like your body's not draining its
Yeah.
like lymph system
Yeah.
is not.
Well, that was
working.
nice of you to fat shame him only in your mind and not publicly. So very well done.
Oh no, I went right up to him.
Oh,
I
you
said,
did?
"Why are
Okay.
you at the gym? Like you're
Yeah.
not even accomplishing anything. Like
Right.
you're a piece of shit. Just go home. You know?
Right? Yeah. Like.
Why
share,
are you
and
even
subscribe.
trying?" That's what I said to
And
him.
what'd he say?
I didn't give him a chance to answer. I walked right out. You know?
You brought your mic with you to
What's
the
he gonna
gym
do,
and you
chase me?
dropped it, and then you came back and said, "I
What's he
actually
gonna
need this
do,
mic."
Chase me.
What's he-
But yeah, if I were to make a P&J sandwich, Tommy, I would put peanut butter on both sides and put just a touch of jelly. Because I've eaten peanut
Yeah.
butter sandwiches without jelly a lot because I don't really have
Oh,
jelly
yeah,
in the
totally.
house, you know?
That's.
Yeah.
I'll accept that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Fine.
Well,
So
because-
if I put jelly on there, it's just going to be a little bit to
Absolutely.
complement the peanut
Very
butter.
tiny.
Well, because even as a snack, I'll
100%.
do chips or pretzels with peanut butter. You can dip those in peanut butter too. I'm not going to add jelly to that equation.
Pretzels go well with peanut butter.
go very well
You
with
ever
peanut
had,
butter. Yeah.
peanut butter on a bagel.
Yeah, I've had peanut butter
that's
on
good.
almost everything.
Do you know what's really good? Chocolate covered pretzels dipped in peanut butter.
Chocolate and peanut butter just go well together.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
just establish that as a fact.
Let's establish that as a fact and move on with our
Yeah.
lives.
All right, Joe, what's your question?
So my first question is, if you had the option to be transported into, as you are, into any book ever written, what book would you choose?
Harry Potter.
Really?
I think so. Without
You'd be a fucking muggle.
my
What
first.
would you do?
Oh shit.
Yeah, see? You really have to think about it, right?
Oh,
or
fuck
maybe,
that. I'm not going to be a
That's a good
muggle in
question,
Harry
man.
Potter.
yeah, that would
At
suck.
best, I'd be like a squib, you know?
Yeah, you'd be like, I guess I'm in the same world I'm in now, knowing that there's an awesomer world that I don't have access to.
Yeah, I would know about it too until
Yeah.
I don't because like the ministry like finds me and wipes my memory or something.
Right, because they're the Matrix. Yeah.
Right.
Well, kind of. Well,
Basically, for muggles, right?
That's true,
What's
yeah.
the difference?
well, you could get like a filch job
All
or
right,
something,
so if I
right?
can't be a wizard, I definitely don't want to be in Harry Potter.
Well, you could. I mean, it's a 50-50 shot or whatever the odds
It's a
are.
50-50 shot.
You might show up and the genie's
roll
like,
some
You said
dice.
like I am though.
well, the genie is now getting involved. He
Oh.
just teleported into my brain.
All right, so when Johnny's not here,
Oh, boy.
do you take up genie? Like,
you're gonna have
are
to
you
take
are
that up.
you
You're gonna have to
senior-
take that up with the genie.
Are you senior genie now,
I'm arbitrary, secondary,
or are you like a doctor?
postiary.
You're like a doctor that doesn't have their full credentials yet, but like in the zombie apocalypse where no one else is around, you're as
Yeah.
good as it gets.
I'm like that.
or you're like a vet where
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, let the vet do the surgery on this guy's stomach because like,
yeah.
who else do we have?
They're like, well, where did he previously practice? And they say, I think he worked at the Kowloon Walled City. And they're like, is that a real place? Yeah, it was in Hong Kong in the 90s. And you're like, okay.
Didn't that happen in Walking Dead where
Probably.
they thought Herschel was a doctor, and then like right before he was about to do the surgery, they found out that he was
No, I think
a vet?
I think they knew he was a vet.
No, I think when Carl got shot, spoiler alert,
Oh, yeah, right. He said that he had done, like,
he had done this on a horse, and they were like, "Wait, what?"
yeah. Which I actually kind of trust more.
I don't trust it more than if he were like the best surgeon in the southeast.
Well, yeah, if you were the best surgeon in the Southeast, that would be great. But if you take your average surgeon
Oh.
compared to your average horse surgeon, because a regular
like
surgeon.
Beth from
Yeah,
Rick and
exactly.
Morty.
A regular surgeon, I don't trust them to operate on a horse, but a horse surgeon, for some reason, I trust them to operate on a human.
I don't think that's a good thing to think.
nevertheless. So that doesn't answer what book you rather be in. What book would you want to be in, Tom?
That's a tough choice. I'm trying to think of all the books I've read, which aren't many.
And you can't choose nonfiction, right?
Yeah, you're like, I don't read. I'm not a loser.
Joke.
You can choose nonfiction.
You can, and then you're just in this world where that book exists.
Well, don't take over the genie, but yeah, what do you got? Like,
how could I possibly be in a nonfiction book, though?
What do you mean? How can you possibly
just do
not
it.
be? How was Benjamin Button a movie? It just was.
Yeah, I don't know.
It didn't make sense.
No, in other words, like,
Yeah, you
what
could.
would I be in that? Because it's just like about science.
If you were in
or
George
something.
Washington's biography,
I was
you
thinking
would
that.
show up in
But
the
you said
Revolutionary
as
War.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would show up in the
So
Revolutionary War.
I would show up in the story that's being portrayed by
Yeah.
the
Right.
words.
Right, exactly. So it's probably a little different than reality, actually. But
It'd be a little trippy because it's like It's like the biography version of reality.
right, yeah.
Okay.
So George Washington would probably be pretty dope.
I don't know which way to go then, fiction or nonfiction.
That's a good question, right?
Because like at least with fiction, I could like if it's a good author where I really understand
Yeah,
their world.
and you know their rules.
Yeah.
yeah. Can I tell you a book I would pick?
What?
A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. Because have you read that?
No, it sounds like a smart person's answer. What is that?
It's a Mark Twain book.
Oh, I don't even know
Have
it.
you seen the movie Black Knight?
With Heath Ledger.
Wow, not even close.
What was that night movie he was in?
I don't
A
know.
couple of them.
Oh, Batman.
No. I mean, like he didn't he play like
He
a
did.
like
That's
the
my bad.
Name
jousting
of it.
one?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Is it
A Knight's
funny?
Tale.
Knight's Tale. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Isn't
just
it
a
funny?
racist
He was
piece of
he
shit.
was the actor in A Knight's Tale, and then he also played the Joker.
He was very versatile
Like
until he
played
died.
those two roles.
But Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court is about this guy who gets hit in the head and he wakes up in medieval England in King Arthur's Court. And he realizes he was a guy who worked at a gun factory. And he realizes, oh, I can industrialize the medieval world. So I want to show it when that guy realizes it. And he meets Merlin and shows that Merlin's actually just a charlatan. And he becomes that grand wizard because he says, like, oh, I can make communication across continents. And he just builds telegraph lines and shit.
Uh-huh.
So he uses science to portray himself as a wizard and he becomes the high whatever. So I would want to chill with that guy freaking people out. It would be pretty cool.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Let me.
That's a good answer.
All right, your answers suck. All right, next question.
All right.
I definitely don't want to be in a Kurt Vonnegut book.
Oh God, Slaughterhouse 5. Fuck that shit. Aliens
was-
come and
I
probe
was
you
just-
during the bombing of Dresden. Like,
I was just thinking any of them that sounds like so stressful.
yeah, yeah.
Look, I really am leaning towards Harry Potter because
Take your chances.
Can I take my chances about being a wizard? or
Oh yeah,
not?
the genie might say, yeah, you're gonna be a
Is
wizard.
there anything I could do to help my chances now?
Are you trying to bang the genie?
I don't know.
It's just the genie want
is
me to
the
bang him?
genie need a little tickle in the middle right now?
The genie appreciates the slant rhymes, and I think he needs another water. I mean beer. I mean water.
So my question then,
Yeah.
before we finish up round one,
Yeah.
this was a kind of boring round because I got to be honest, it didn't challenge me at all. The spice is just like middle of the road.
Yeah.
Luckily, we've got a case of water here.
Yeah.
So this is one that a podcast I listen to always asks their guests at the end. What experience have you had in your life that was a net positive thing that you wouldn't like want to not you wouldn't want to delete that from your past, but you wouldn't want to repeat it?
That's a damn good question. I really like that question. You should have ended with that.
I was thinking of ending it with that, but then I have like a better one to end with.
We'll take care of it in post. No, that's a really good question. I really like that. So something that I would
Like it's not quite regret, but you're saying like
Yeah.
it was challenging enough that like fuck that, I wouldn't do it again.
Did it? You done? Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tom? Do you have
I'm
anything?
trying to think off the top of my head.
I would
That's a
say
good question, man.
I would probably say there's so many. I'm trying to think of a funny one
There's
because
good things I've done, but like I would do them again.
well, I'm just thinking of like everything I think of is kind of just not funny. It's dark and serious. You know, there's nothing.
There's those. There's also the like, oh, I drank way too much that time kind of one. You know, like where
Yeah.
like you're happy you did it because you can look back on it and be like, those were crazy times.
yeah.
But at the same time, like you would not want to be, driving around in a car throwing empty beer bottles at stuff.
Yeah, so
For
it would
3
probably
hours
be
as entertainment.
it would probably be any of those times.
Yeah.
Maybe that time we destroyed that house.
Which house?
I don't think I should say more on the air.
Probably
yeah,
not.
But like, give me a rough year.
It's about 10 years ago, and we realized one of us was moving, and there was a house behind another house, and we decided to destroy it.
May or may not have destroyed.
Oh, mine.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was crazy night.
yeah, yeah. We probably shouldn't have broke as much stuff as we did, but I wouldn't unbreak it.
Yeah, that's a good one because if you remember, Johnny Genie was hanging out there too, and then we were all. If you remember, like,
I vaguely remember, yeah, because I
it
remember,
was at my house, right?
and you were like,
Like, I'm totally fine saying it was at my
yeah,
house.
and you were okay. So you
weren't
were,
we burning a bunch of my mom's documents?
Yeah,
too?
your mom just came out
Yeah.
with boxes of documents and was
Wow.
like, "You
we
guys
were-
want to burn these?"
We were moving out, basically. Like, my parents were splitting up, the house was going,
Yeah, it was dark,
and
and we were like, "I guess we'll destroy this house, whatever."
well, we were just like rage fest, right?
yeah,
And
we don't live here.
two funny things. My dad was working like a public safety type job,
Yeah,
and he worked nights. So whenever I was partying outside, we would like party in the yard and have like a fire pit, and always around like 11:15, 11:30, he would like walk out to his car to go to work, you know?
yeah,
And like he would kind of look over and be like, jackasses. Like, I can
Yeah,
imagine
sounds right.
what you're doing. you
yeah,
know?
right. And what I wish I was doing,
Yeah.
instead.
And now I just woke up and now I'm going to work. Like, fuck this.
Yeah,
you know?
fuck those funny guys. Yeah,
And then, yeah, we were burning a bunch of, my mom would come out with like boxes of like documents. I'm like,
yeah.
why do we have to burn these? Like, what are they?
Just in the yard.
Yeah.
It's not as if there was a separate fire pit somewhere. We just threw them in the yard
Grass, and just
and
started
just burnt
burning
them.
them.
no, we had
started
a fire pit.
No, it was just in the middle of the yard, wasn't it?
It was an
Oh, it
actual
was?
fire pit though. It was actually your old fire pit from your old house, actually.
Oh shit!
But was that even a fire pit?
I mean, it was rusted away to be like.
I definitely
virtually
remember
not a fire pit.
stomping out documents because we just kept dumping them on.
The wind was like blowing them
Yeah.
everywhere. Yeah.
Oh shit!
But then,
was just chaos.
our other friend, took the fucking propane tank from the barbecue and
Oh,
like placed it
no.
near the fire as a joke.
how's that a joke?
It's not a joke. It's not funny.
And then we kind of broke a bunch of doors and maybe a dresser. And
Well, then my other brother got home.
A bunch of bottles.
And it's not like my older brother, it's not like he was like, hey, you youngsters are being unreasonable and drunk. He was like, hey, I'm drunker than you. Let's play. And he took a wiffle ball bat and he started swinging empty beer cans at us
inside the house.
inside the house.
Yeah.
My older brother's, his like, modus,
we were just
what is it
hiding.
called? Modus
operandi.
Modus
operandi?
drunkarandi. Yeah, drunkarandi.
Is like he'll always cross the line way further than you're comfortable. So never
Yeah.
challenge him to anything.
Yeah, right.
Like he would be really good in like an honor culture where it's like, well, you're not in the tribe unless you fucking
Yeah, until he dies. The bet is to kill yourself.
Well, yeah, honor
Like,
cultures
chop
are
off your
risky,
head with a
you know?
chainsaw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You want
you
it,
know?
yeah.
So yeah, I kind of because I felt bad after because I thought to myself, man, we really did some damage there. But I also thought that was pretty fucking fun.
Oh, memorable night. Yeah.
Yeah, memorable night. Yeah, classic night. And also, like, who cares?
It ended with Johnny chasing me around the yard with a 2x4.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was just out of control.
The,
for
the
some
night
reason.
was out of control. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was mine.
How did you guys get home?
I don't know. I probably walked.
Yeah, honestly, you probably walked.
probably did. It was
the number of times I walked to your house from my house.
Yeah, because when
It
you're
was like a 2-hour walk, right?
when you,
Hour.
yeah, when you're
something?
like 18, 19, 20, you just kind of think, it's only 3 miles.
I
Whatever.
really enjoyed it. I mean, I had like
Yeah.
a lot of funny drunk walks home from your house to my
yeah,
house.
yeah,
And at the time, no smartphones.
yeah. Right.
Like I wasn't listening to a podcast.
Yeah,
I was
you-
just in my drunken head, just playing with my thoughts. Like,
yeah. Right. Yeah.
gosh, I would love to go back to one of those nights and
Yeah,
just
see,
kind
that's
of
why I-
observe my thoughts. You know,
That's why I wouldn't delete it. I wouldn't go back and say, "Hey guys, we should tone it down." You know, even though I should.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
do you know one of those walks home? I collected. You know how they throw like a newspaper at the end of your driveway?
Yeah.
When I got onto my block, this is like drunk Luke when he's 19. I collected every newspaper from the edge of the driveway, so I had like 50 of them by the time I got to my house, and I was just carrying them in both arms. And then I walked downstairs. My older brother's room was in the basement, and I
so
just threw them
stupid.
against his door. I was like, "Eat shit, asshole!" You know. And then like the next morning at breakfast, he's like, "Oh, I got your gift." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "The newspapers." I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, you remember. It's not quite a blackout.
Not a blackout, but
shit.
it's just sort of like a whatever.
Or age out, yeah.
I don't have to remember it.
Yeah,
like,
right. So do you have one such instance, Tom?
I was involved in nefarious activities.
You sound like such a politician.
Yeah, we were. I don't know if I should say where it was.
Say location B.
This is a
Who's
comedy
location be?
podcast, so everything is just
Oh, none of this is true.
storytelling.
None of-
all alleged.
You know, none of this
It's
really
all
happened.
hyperbole.
Yeah, we're making all this up. This is not real, any of it.
Oh, okay. So me and my
Even though we're
imaginary
using our
friends
names,
went
yeah.
to this football game, this local one.
Yeah.
Up by the road here.
Yeah, that's
And,
not real.
Yeah, no, and
Football.
Yeah. What is that?
Soccer?
Yeah, We were kicking the
Football
ball
never
around.
happened.
We get the point. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a real story, but
Next, faster.
And we were
look, if we get to the point in the future where the cops are listening to the Thunk Tank podcast for crimes committed 12 years ago, we're fucked in ways that don't matter.
Well, we'll use the money that we're apparently making to pay them off. Not that we would ever pay
We'll
off
put it on the
cops.
Thunk Tank credit
So
card.
we
Yeah,
may
put
or
it on
may
the
not
card.
have been sparking up Jays in a dugout, and we may or may have,
I know
have gotten
exactly what you're
chased
talking about,
by custodians in go-karts. And, and
I
it
just
was
hear Wizard of
kinda
Oz
fun.
music when you say that. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
That's happened to
It
me.
was like, oh shit! And then once the night was over and I got home, I was like, wow, that was pretty fun.
It was, yeah. It's
Is-
fun getting chased as long as you don't get caught.
Yeah,
Correct. Yeah.
You're right. But isn't it so fucked? Because
Very shameful when you get caught.
I may or may not, but definitely don't have also stories of
That dugout.
yeah. And what's crazy is that you can't get in now because these schools are all fenced off.
Yes, they are.
And it used to be, yeah, you would just walk in the middle of the night and do whatever.
You know, that's going to be our version. Like, my dad always
It's
says,
sad.
you know, drunk driving's not what it used to be. He's like, my friend, like at my dad's bachelor party, for example, he was like, the car got pulled over, and it wasn't like they had a designated driver.
Oh God.
After each bar that they were bar hopping to, they would go like, who wants to drive? Who's most sober? And somebody would be like, actually, I just had 2 waters, so I'm good. You know, there was
Yeah.
no like designation.
How can that possibly go wrong?
And they got pulled over, and the cop was like, "What's going on?" They were like, "Bachelor party." He's like, "Oh, you boys playing it safe?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And he looks around, and he goes, "You look too drunk," to the driver. And then he looks in the passenger seat and
Go.
goes, "You drive." And they're like, "All right." And then they left.
Was the other guy drunker
wild.
or less
They
drunk?
were all drunk, but like
all wasted.
the cop just decided that like you were swerving, so like let's take our
Let's
bets
try
on
you and I'll follow you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
the other version he told was like his best friend,
Christ.
who's now dead, partly because of alcohol.
Okay.
I think we need the next wing.
But he got pulled over once and he was wasted, and the cop took his keys and said, "Wait here." And he just kind of took a nap, and the cop came back 2 hours later with a cup of coffee and his keys and said, "Get home safe, idiot." You know, like that kind of vibe.
That's really
Okay.
nice.
This was in
Wow.
the 70s.
Oh, yeah, because I feel like now they would just say, "Oh, great."
Right. So I'm saying this, the equivalent for us is like we're going to tell our kids,
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
you know, when I was your age, we just like walked up to the school and partied in the dugouts.
Right.
Now they have drones circling the property.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much.
And they'll,
now
they'll
it's
flick you in the
much.
dick if they see you there.
Now it's a game against robots, you know?
Yeah.
And then the kids of this next, you know, let's say the 20,
Yeah.
30, 40
They'll be like, "Why do we have to
generation-
stand with our arms out our side, just staring ahead? Was it always that way?"
No, I was thinking
Not really.
just like they'll come up with their own techniques about how to fool the drones, you know? Like,
Maybe.
oh, if you wear checkered clothing, it can't detect a human form, or, you know, like some shit like that.
Blunt smoke at the drone. It
yeah.
You gotta blow it right in its eyes, though. That's what we'll tell the kids. All right, let's go to the next wing.
All right, we're going to eat, what's the next one called?
Hot habanero.
Habanero.
Mango
So,
habanero.
This one's gonna take it up a notch. So we
We're
might
going to hit
be.
pause. I think we should each probably like chug another water, aka Miller Lite.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna take
And
a quick pause
hopefully
here.
we're a little bit more
Lucid.
yeah, lucid. I was gonna
We'll
say, what's the word?
up.
Lascivious. All right. See you on the other side of
Morty.
habanero.
A hot habanero.
Mango
That's not-
hab-
mango
Mango
habanero.
habanero.
That's it. Yeah, sweet
All right.
and spicy. Spicy mustard.
All right, guys, we're on round habanero.
So that took it up a notch.
What was that? Mango habanero.
That was almost a sentence.
I went for the second one before the spice from the first one hit me.
So this
It's a crucial mistake.
this was a delay.
And I was the one like,
So I said as we took out the mango habanero ones, I said, "Oh, this is really going to take it up," and Luke's just going.
like I said, I'm hungry.
Big
So
chomp.
Yeah.
having trouble with the tip of the tongue motion. Oh, this one's really delayed, like 2-minute delay. Yeah, give me that pen.
I think I'm dying.
Yeah,
I'm so glad
that was
Luke went
fucking
for
hot, man.
seconds on that.
Yeah, no, he was the only one that did seconds on it too.
Woo.
Fair.
That is a delay because I thought the delay took 2 minutes.
And my tongue's burned.
Now we're like 5 minutes in and we're melting. I'm like sweating.
It's all good.
Oh
Can you
man.
pump that AC?
Yeah, let's crank up the AC.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know where
AC
the
should be fine.
I need some
If we
cold
turn it
sweats
on.
going right now.
Let's get right to the questions, shall we?
What is your first question?
So it feels a little bit lame after you
man.
asked your question
Yeah.
about the book,
Yeah.
but my question was going to be, you can't be a main character.
Yeah, Morty.
So, for example, if you chose Game of Thrones,
Yeah. He's getting hot.
if you chose Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
you can't be fucking Daenerys, and you
I
can't.
can't fuck Daenerys.
You can
What's the
fuck
point?
her,
Yeah.
but you can't be.
I can't be Jon
Jon
Snow.
Snow or
yeah,
something.
right.
Okay. Oh.
But you can be a tertiary character.
Okay.
So, what TV show would you choose to live out the rest of your life? And basically, the rules are right now. What is it, like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
roughly speaking? Who cares? Let's just say you find out that at 10 p.m. the next day, so you have about a
God.
day to say goodbye to everyone you know.
Yeah. But I could just rob banks in that time. I could like kill people,
Yeah, even if you get put in jail, like you're just going to disappear
teleport.
from
Yeah.
this reality.
Assuming
And
that I'm assuming that this is reality, that I'll be teleported.
yeah,
to
you're
a TV
assuming
show.
that the guy crying from his eyes and like wiping his nose from hot sauce is like an actual genie. That
Yeah.
which TV show would you choose?
And
And it can be a sitcom too.
I'm torn between
but the
two.
world that you go to is going
Yeah.
to be that world. You know what I
Torn
mean?
Between two.
but who am I in this? I get to be like a character on that show.
I want to know what show and why, and what character and why.
I
okay.
wait. So I do
Choose
become a
characters, so I
character.
can't be
Just
my
no
own
main
character?
characters. So if you choose Seinfeld, you can't be any of the main four. You'd have to be like Putty.
Or I could be Bob Sacamano. Or
Yeah, you could even be that.
but do
a
I
good
have their
choice.
powers?
No,
Like
if it's like Game of Thrones and like you're a Targaryen, then you know, or you're a face changer or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
You know, you
Right.
could theoretically have that. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I just almost rubbed my eyes with my hands.
Don't do that.
And I didn't. So
Ooh,
just a reminder to not do that. Also,
And no touching your
penis.
vaginas.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
Your
Too late.
vaginas, yeah. Don't rub those. That's an interesting
So
question.
I can't be my own original character though.
You can if you
You have to be a tertiary character,
yeah
sort of.
like
Like I could go to Game of
But
Thrones.
I don't have to be a specific character.
Like I could go,
you could just say I'm a
me.
citizen of Westeros.
or I could go to
yeah.
Game of Thrones and be hot pot.
But good luck, man. Like, wouldn't you
Yeah.
want to be
I
a main
wouldn't wanna
character
be
that has a
Westeros.
say in things?
No.
I would not want to be in Game of Thrones as a
No.
side character. I wouldn't want to be in Game of Thrones as a main character.
I think I'm going to avoid Game of Thrones. It's more fun to watch not being
Yeah.
in it.
No.
I think
To be in it, it's like, oh my god, this is
Absolutely not.
crazy.
I think that's a really good question. I'm kind of torn between along the lines of leaning towards either Cheers or Orville.
All right.
Orville.
That's
Yeah,
pretty good, man.
but Orville. The problem with Orville is that your side character regularly in Orville. There's an episode and they say, "Yeah, 30 people died during that attack." Oh well, they were red shirts. Who cares?
Right.
They were
It's
whoever.
most of Star Trek though, so that's something to be aware of.
Yeah,
you know?
so that's why I'm kind of leaning more towards Cheers because I'll just get drunk with Ted Danson, whatever, you know.
That's a thing.
that's a good one.
It's very low expectations.
I'm probably gonna say Trailer Park Boys,
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
because then I could just get drunk and high with the boys.
Trailer
Just
Park
hang out,
Boys.
you know,
That's a
That's
good
not
one.
a bad one.
Eat some greasy chicken fingers and hang out. Have
That's
a
a
good
real,
time.
and you can have gunfights and never get shot.
Exactly.
Ricky's
will
the
get
only one who ever
yeah,
gets shot,
you know.
and it's never in the head.
yeah, it's
That's
never
good,
lethal.
yeah.
You know,
That's
Or
a really
permanent.
good one. I like that
Yeah.
one. Yeah. What would you
Well-
choose?
Me, you know, the kinds of the funny thing is, as I'm thinking about this, the kinds of shows that I love watching are the kinds of shows I would not want to be in.
Yeah, right.
Walking
yeah.
Dead or Game of Thrones, like any of these kind of dramas. It's like, well, fuck that,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
But I might choose something where Harry Potter.
Oh, God.
No, I mean, like, I honestly only thought of this from the question angle. I didn't think of it what my own answer would be.
Oh, you don't have to answer. That's fine.
So
All right.
fuck you and don't ever redirect a question at me.
All right, what's your question?
I was gonna say, and I had a second choice maybe. For that. Maybe Futurama.
Wait, I have.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was my second one I was
Futurama.
deciding on. Yeah.
What about Rick and Morty?
That's scary because
Which
Because
character
you could
would you be allowed to
easily-
be in this
no.
scenario?
only Linkler.
Because you could easily get switched to another universe and multiverse, and you're just done.
Yeah.
you know?
That could
Like,
happen.
we got Cronenberg.
What if that
you know?
happens to you every time you fall asleep?
I'm gonna assume
I
it
can't-
doesn't.
We're not getting.
I have
into
one
that
more
right
question for you, Joe.
Yeah,
Ready?
yeah.
Can you get me a beer?
I only get waters. We're flying through these. So, what's your question?
Oh, my question? A little bit of a turn. Doesn't have to be
like the mango
most,
habanero.
But what's one of your most embarrassing moments in your life? One of the. It doesn't have to be the most.
It's hard to find the most, anyways.
No, yeah, no, it's.
One of the most embarrassing moments of my life.
Let me give you a hint. Maybe like asking a girl out and she just like flat out denies you. That kind of shit, right?
Like when Dwight asked out
I'll say one.
Amy Adams in The Office, and she's like, no, and he's like, no to going out with me or no to talking to me more, and she says both.
Yeah, exactly.
And he just goes, oh, and walks away. Wait, you have an example?
Yeah, so I played football when I was a kid, like really young. I was very young. I was like 8, 9.
You were tyke.
I was tyke. I was tyke age. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Like little tykes.
Yeah.
Oh
exactly.
my God.
Yeah,
I was so overweight as a kid. I was in a whole division ahead, and even then, I would barely make the weight. I'd be
Like
overweight.
you were fat,
I
or
was
you were
fat.
just tall?
No, I was very big. I wasn't that tall, but I was
And
very
then you
overweight.
got tall, and then like kind of like all.
It evened out. Oh, it evened out.
Yeah, you were a little chubby.
I was tubby.
Yeah, he was a tubby
I was
boy.
a tubby
I
little
remember
boy.
Tubby Tom.
So the helmets never fit right. The pants and shirts, they never fit. I barely ever made weight. Anyways, I was stuck between pant sizes, and this belt would never go on right. So I went to the porta potty bathroom thing to try to get this thing on, and it was like a practice at night, so there was all different teams there and all different people. And I got this thing on, and I go out of the bathroom, and there's a whole line of girls there, and my pants just fall down my legs.
That's
Nice.
In
awesome.
front of everybody in front of this place. And I'm just like, oh shit, my pants are around my ankles.
What age was this?
This is like 8.
That's perfect trauma age.
Yeah,
That's
it was
trauma
good.
age.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Depending, I mean, 8
was
is
one
what
of
grade
them.
is 8?
I was
8 years
a year
old. That's like
ahead,
third grade,
so I was
second
like
grade,
third
second grade, third grade.
That's just a bit too low for like
Yeah.
like
I'm not
legit trauma.
traumatized by it. I laugh about it.
You know what I mean?
but
Like if that happens
Yeah.
to you in like middle
it
school,
was just embarrassing, you know.
when like everyone's aware that like I remember when I was younger, like the first time we had like a above ground swimming pool, like just past my backyard. So it took you like maybe a minute to walk there from our back door.
Yeah.
And like one of the things we would do in the summer is like you would go swimming, and then you would take your bathing suit off and leave it to dry on the fence,
Mm-hmm.
and then you would just quick run in the house. If you had a towel, you would use it, but often you left the towel hanging there to
So
dry
you
too.
just ran around naked.
You would just run in the house naked
Yeah.
real quick and
Right.
like go
yeah,
to your
that's,
room.
That's normal behavior, right? Yeah. Go on.
And I remember I was in like maybe like 5th or 6th grade.
That's a little too
and my
old.
older brother,
yeah.
who was in like 8th grade, was doing that.
That's definitely too
And
old.
I was like, "Oh my god, that because like he started getting a bunch of pubic hair, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?" And I was just like, "That's what's
I'm
gonna happen
familiar with
to me.
that syndrome.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
That's
like,
an embarrassing moment
so
for you.
That was embarrassing for you?
No, I'm saying like at that age
Oh.
where you're like becoming aware of
Yeah.
that what
Yeah,
you
we're,
have
like,
is
social
genitals and what
stigmas,
they're
yeah.
used for and all of that stuff. I feel like that's a more embarrassing age than 3rd grade where you're just like, whatever,
Yeah,
my pants
right.
are down.
Wow,
you
way
know?
to diminish my trauma.
Yeah, I'm just saying
You
that was
would.
a shitty answer,
Yeah.
you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Wait, so what's
You
your
fucked
trauma?
hard.
What's your most traumatic? Or not? What was it? Embarrassing moment?
Embarrassing moment. It didn't. It turned into trauma.
I've got a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Freshman year of college.
That's a good start.
So I think I was with your brother, Johnny.
Yeah, that
Our
sounds about right.
I say your brother. He's the fucking co-host of
He's
our
the genie.
podcast, the Genie.
Yeah.
We love you, Genie. I hope your road trip's going well.
We're going to play Oregon Trail after just for him
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and live stream it. Fuck it. I don't know.
So like it was like
Well,
New
sure.
Year's
Go
Eve.
ahead.
I guess that would have been like New Year's Eve of 2008 becoming 2009.
Faster.
And I partied with Johnny all night and some other people.
Yeah.
We left this party. Now we were not 21, right? And
Allegedly.
Allegedly, we were below 21, just mathematically.
Right. Exactly.
Another adverb.
Yeah.
And we wanted more beer. We kind of left this party. By the way, this party peaked, and my brother Eric,
Allegedly.
who should be coming on again for Always Sunny. He was on the Seinfeld episode.
Our most popular episode, yeah.
Most downloaded, yeah.
Yeah. Seinfeld analysis. Are you still eating?
I had a piece of chicken in my throat. My brother Eric can attest to this. We were at a party, and I was already wasted enough at this party that when the ball dropped, it was one of those high school party, not high school, I mean like college age parties where like the parents allowed the kids to have some friends over in the basement, and like the parents were having their own party upstairs kind of thing.
Yeah.
There were some parents there is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And like everybody from the downstairs kind of went upstairs to go to the big TV for when the ball's dropping. You know, people like to be together, that kind of shit.
Right. Yeah.
And drunk 19-year-old Luke gets it in his head that like I've got my moment here. And like the ball drops, everyone's like, Happy New Year, and then there was like a little silence, and I screamed out, Happy New Year, you pussy pig fuckers.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
That's a Curb Your Enthusiasm
I know,
line, isn't
yeah.
it?
I mean, especially at that time, I was like so into that show, and like I probably
Wait,
just watched.
who
that
was
episode.
there? Was family there?
Family and friends.
Not my family.
God.
I was at a stranger's house.
That's amazing.
That's not the embarrassing part.
Thank you for inviting me over, you pig.
I'm just
fuckers.
giving you the context of the night.
Oh
Oh,
god.
I'm totally okay with that part. I don't mind.
Wait, so what's the embarrassing part?
Our friend drives us, and we're like, hey, we need more beer, right? So we go to 7-Eleven. It's 3 a.m. on New Year's Eve, right?
New Year's Day,
now,
yeah, right.
And Johnny just goes in and gets a six-pack, slams it on the counter, and is like, that'll be all. And the guy just like was like, okay, and they paid for it and left. He's like, that worked. You know, like when you're not 21, the
Yeah.
ways that you find to get beer, the most of how it works is you find the gas stations with the guy who's cool,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Right. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
So anyways, we got those beers, and we drank more of those beers.
Yeah. Allegedly.
We're driving around drinking those beers, allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly, Johnny Genie was potentially peeing out of a window while the car was moving, and I was singing a song that goes something like, I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air, they fly so high, and I'm belting this out drunkenly from the back window while Johnny's peeing from the other back window. And the driver is just like dying laughing. Like, I don't know if he was drunk or not. Like, I honestly can't tell you.
Yeah.
I blacked out. Night is over for me. We're at the beach while Johnny's peeing out of a window. I wake up the next morning and I have some like Facebook messages. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, oh my God, what did Blackout Luke get up to? So not only did I leave a 3-minute voicemail on my brother's phone, where I was just like, yo, dude, Happy New Year, like just like zombie
whatever.
talking.
Yeah. Right.
I also like messaged this girl I was trying to get with at the time.
Oh no.
And just like said so much shit. Like nothing nothing that I couldn't recover from.
Yeah.
But it was just so obvious that I overplayed my hand because I was like blacked out.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I bet you this won't work out. And it didn't. Like when I eventually asked her out, she was like, no, I have a boyfriend. I was like, okay, yeah, like
Fair play.
Yeah,
fair
me
play.
That's pretty good.
So like, yeah, I think that was like the moment where, certainly in that moment, I felt the most shame of like, oh God, what did I do?
yeah.
you know,
In that
pretty
moment.
good,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
and that's a good way, like when you're younger,
Yeah.
that you learn that there's this thing called blacking out, and that your brain
It's real. Yeah.
has these little modules that will still like do things to like.
Which is, yeah.
That's scary, and because
It
you
is
can
scary.
still type language.
Fully.
You would think if I
Yeah.
can't form memories, then my language centers won't work. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, they will.
You didn't say the secret word.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
What's Joe's question?
Jose.
Did I not ask a question?
Not for the second round.
Oh, fuck.
Habanero
Okay.
round.
Did you give your embarrassing moment?
I don't think so. I would say very briefly.
Oh, he was trying to sneak out and not giving it.
Yeah, I think so.
No, I'll give you it, but I really want that blazing.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I think you were there. We went to a party, and it was the most beers I've ever drank in one night. I lost track at 20, and I just remember they were putting all the empties. It was in this basement at some house, and they were putting all the empties in like a beer pyramid on this table over the course of the night. And I remember it was a really big tower, and everybody was so psyched about the tower. And I just
give me a rough year, so I can't find it in my memory yet.
2011,
Okay.
10, 11.
Around there.
Anyways, long story short, we got really fucked up. I lost track at 20 beers, and then all I remember was falling through the beer tower at this party and destroying it.
I remember this.
And then one of the guys there was just like, "How you doing?" And I'm like, "Good." And he's like, "Good, you gotta go." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Good point." And I just left.
And you started walking home, right?
Yeah. And then Kara, allegedly a friend of mine named Kara, picked me up.
Yeah, the detectives are going to have a hard time tracing this one. Like,
Yeah.
They're like, what Kara might he be talking about? Maybe it's the genie's wife. Who's the genie? I don't know. We had to figure this one out.
Get a whole file on him.
And we went back to her house, and we played video games, and I don't remember playing it, but she said the next day that I slaughtered everybody. Like, she was having a little get-together, and she said, "Yeah, you beat everybody."
Oh, she was at her house with a bunch of chicks, right?
Yeah, right.
And you killed them all in video games.
Right, yeah.
Oh, I think I remember texting you being like, hey, dude, you okay? Like,
Yeah.
where'd you end up?
Yeah, right.
Because like I was like, Joe was wasted, now he's not here. Let me make sure he's not in a ditch kind of level, you know?
Right, which is oftentimes the thing that happens with Joe. He's wasted, and then he's just gone. Nobody
Joe
quite-
is
quite knows
known
where
for
he
what
is.
we call
Drunk slink.
slinking.
Yeah, I'm a slinker.
You haven't slinked on me in a while.
No,
And
as I get older, it's lost its cachet.
basically, the way it used to work is like you'd be hanging at a party, like maybe there's 10 people, maybe there's 20, whatever, and Joe's one of them, and then all of a sudden he's not. And you'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Check the driveway. And it's like, his car's gone.
Yeah.
And you always park
Slunk.
like in a slinkable area.
Yeah, easy access out.
But
Yeah.
one time,
no turns.
you
just go.
You
You
tried to
just
slink when there was only like 8 people, something like that.
You need a critical mass to slink.
do.
Like
And-
you took a risk, right?
Yeah, you have
and,
to sometimes.
And it was at my old house, the
Yeah.
Burrow. I lived in a house called the Burrow with Johnny Genie.
Yeah.
That should be an episode.
We are going to do a Burrow
Recounting
episode.
Burrow stories.
Yeah.
Anyways,
God, we're drinking so much beer.
it's water, dude. It's hydrating.
That's what I meant.
We need to.
And Joe, do you remember like I turned on the outside light and you were like walking like you were like kind of like in a half run and you were like ducking behind the cars trying to get out like a raccoon like stealing trash.
Yeah,
I was like, Joe, I see you. You're not getting away with this
well,
one.
because you became obsessed with trying to catch me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
slinking, where you're just like, I know what you're doing, Ramon.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're doing, Ramon.
All right, so my question is, what is your not your greatest regret? If you could go back to grade school and do one thing differently, what would you do?
Is grade school elementary?
Elementary, middle, or high school? You can take your pick. Like, it could be a specific moment, a specific year that you would say, oh, I would just try harder that year. Like, oh, I would join that club. Oh, I would, try to bone that
It's
person.
like up to 4th grade or 5th grade or something?
No, up to the 12th
K
grade.
through 12.
K through 12, yeah.
Oh, grade school just means K
Grade
through
school.
12.
Yeah.
I didn't
grade
know
school.
that.
Yeah, grade school. Because it's grades. Grade 1,
12.
2, 3, 4,
So the
5,
question
6.
is if I could change anything.
If you could go back and like relive and say,
Second
oh, I'm going to
shot.
do this differently.
But like, what's the context? Am I telling my past self like, "Hey, it's Luke from the future"? By the way,
I'll leave it open. So you can go back. You can
do I
say,
leave myself a note? Am I playing that part as me now? You know what I mean?
yeah. So you would go back and you would be able to relive that moment as yourself now, but do it differently.
Wouldn't that be crazy though to be a high school student?
With the foresight that you have now, dear God.
I would destroy all the teachers.
What does that mean?
What not in a shoot up a school kind of way. Let me just like make that
Jesus
clear.
Christ,
Oh my
Luke.
God.
I meant like in conversations with teachers, I
Yeah.
would just like play verbal chess way better.
Yeah, right.
I'd be like, "Oh, you seem like you're unhappy in your marriage." Then they'd be like, "Excuse me." I'd be like, "Excuse me." You know, like
Excuse you.
I'd have way more courage to like call shit out.
So it's a
because
wi-
there's a lot of bullshit in school.
So it's a wide open. You could go back and say, "Yeah, I want to redo 9th grade," and just go through that, or you could say, "Oh, I want to redo that 1 week where whatever," or "I want to redo spring
Wait a second.
semester."
So is your question more like, what do you want to experience again, or like, what would you change?
Well, what do you want to experience change by re-experiencing?
Am I changing it by just saying it that it's changed, or
No,
I have
'cause
to relive it?
You have to relive it. Yeah, you can
what
go
are the
back.
implied
and relive
ramifications from this, though? If I
Yeah,
change all
like
this?
I'm not going to be
I'm
me
not gonna
anymore.
come back to here.
it. Yeah, you'll come back. I'll send you back.
Just right to here. So it's just reliving it and giving it a different shot.
Wait,
Come back,
but the
it's
only
all
reason you
pointless
would
in
want to
the
go
end.
back and change
this
something
is all
would
for
be to
fun.
like make the present day different.
All right, fine. Do that then.
So if it doesn't matter,
But I don't
want
wanna
to
do that either.
And I'm just gonna do dick all and just have fun then.
All right, fine. You both
matter.
fail. How about that? And I tell you something else. You banned.
No, what I would really do if it were just like the go back and party with no consequences to the timeline, right?
Yeah, I like that timeline.
I would. All right, your brother Johnny Genie.
I love how all our answers come back to Johnny Genie.
Yeah, we miss him.
He's at the center of this
Oh
all.
God, he's
So
driving to
basically,
Oregon right now.
every time in like statistics class, he'd be like, "So Luke, are you gonna like start drinking yet?" You know, I'd be like, "Johnny, why are you so sleepy?" He's like, "Because I went to bed at 5, and then came to school at 7." I'm like,
And
"All
I'm in
right."
stats now with what's her name?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he was always just like, you know, when are you gonna like, you know, when are you gonna like, you know, come over and like be cool and like, you know, have beer and whatever.
In
I-
class?
No, meaning like
Oh.
just in general, like on
Oh.
the weekends or something.
Yeah.
And like, because that was never something I did. I actually did not have my first beer until after high school.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the
Interesting.
summer after I graduated, my family was on vacation, and like I had beer with my brothers for the first time.
Wow.
Before that, I was like clean as a whistle.
Straight edge.
Got really good grades and was really into that whole thing. You know,
That's probably for the best.
so because of that, I would want to go back to like playing in pit orchestra for the musicals,
It'd
some
just
shit
be-
like that,
just be
and
lit.
just have like a 12 pack in my backpack.
Yeah.
Because nobody would suspect me of anything. I
Right.
got away with like on basically for 3 periods during my senior year, I would just wander into the main auditorium and practice on the piano there because
Yeah.
it was a really nice grand piano. And I was like, well, it's a study hall technically, but I have fuck all to study because school is stupid and easy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go play piano.
Yeah.
And then like the principal would come in and be like, "What's going on?" I'd be like, "Oh, just practicing piano." He's like, "Man, it sounds great." Like we would talk, you know, and like
Yeah.
it wasn't like he was like, "You're supposed to have a pass to not be where you're supposed to."
Do you know what's
like,
sad about that is that now
That's
is
not
how
a
it's-
thing.
That's that. Yeah, exactly. Like
It's the same thing we were saying with the
Yeah.
dugouts, with the
Yeah.
drunk driving. You know, it's like people ruin freedom, and
Yeah.
then you lose it.
they only have one bathroom open now at that high school.
Really?
Because
Yeah.
people were fucking up.
Yeah, they have one bathroom and they have monitors to watch you go in and out.
Yeah, that's too much.
And it's like
When I was
Jesus
finishing
Christ.
school, they started having like the hall monitors.
Yeah.
And theoretically, when you walked past, they would say, "Can I see a hall pass?" And if you didn't have one, they would like do something, right?
Right.
Because if you didn't have a hall pass, that means like you got out from a class without a teacher telling you to do it.
Right. Yeah.
But I was the kind of kid that like I regularly saw like the gym teacher that was
Yeah.
doing the hall pass
Gotta
thing.
chat them up.
Yeah, and then he'd be
Yeah.
like, "You have a hall pass?" I'm like, "Dude, like
Do you?
it's fine,"
Yeah.
you know. And he's like, "So where are you going to college?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not sure yet." Blah blah blah, and we would just talk, you know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Whereas if I were like a dirtbag or something, like you know, they would just like send you right to the office.
They'd be like,
or
just
whatever.
go to the office. Yeah. Come on.
So I think I would just relive some of those times
And just rage.
with my consciousness now and kind of
Yeah.
enjoy the raging.
Yeah.
I took life way too seriously back then,
Right. As you do.
and
you
I don't
do or
necessarily
don't. Yeah.
regret that because like there are a lot of positives that come from that.
But you could go back and say,
But I
like,
could
let me
go
try that
back
five.
and,
Yeah.
and I'd probably end up like banging some people too. Like I didn't
Yeah.
really bang anyone in high school. It was
Yeah.
not until after high school.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
And like again, that's probably a good thing.
But you know, you're right, because the other end of that, I remember running into somebody from high school a few years after high school who used to just be starting in 9th grade, would show up to class and just be asleep because they were still wasted from the night before.
Right.
And I saw them.
And that's not cool, by the way.
No, well, I saw them 3 years. It's not
Funny, but it's not
It's funny, but it's not. No, you're right, because I saw them. I remember I saw them at a bar my junior or senior year of college, and I said, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you since high school. What's going on?"
I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, and he was like,
I was trying to be the Seinfeld Chinese restaurant. Oh, Mr. Cartwright, haven't seen you for a while.
Jesus Christ. But he said, yeah, it's going good. You know, I just, I haven't been driving for a while after my second DUI. And he went to this whole thing about how he's sober now. And I'm like, what are you doing at a bar? And he said, well, my friends all still come to the bar, so I just come to drink soda. And I'm like, wow, that's a really like cool that you figured your shit out, but he had to do that a much rougher way because he raged so hard so early.
Yeah. So I don't want to have to
exactly. Yeah,
necessarily.
I like.
So
sort
I
of the
like
balance,
this idea that in this scenario, I can go back and just kind of. It's almost like being in the Orville and going into the simulation room.
Exactly.
And
right.
And knowing that I can just be like end simulation,
reset simulation, whatever. Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I had a good time in high school playing in musicals, like playing in the pit.
Yeah.
I was in there with like, just it was.
I fell in the pit.
It was.
We were in the pit.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I was watching that the other day.
I would definitely have a great time. I think, and especially with not just like booze, but like to have like a weed edible before I like do a musical in high school.
Yeah.
And to be me now, I'd be like looking up at the stage and being like, what a trip this thing called life is.
Especially when genies are sending me back to high school.
When somebody's like, I dreamt last night I was on a boat to heaven.
You're like, oh shit, me too right now. Jesus Christ.
That's from Seussical the Musical, by the way.
Oh God, I remember watching it. A person's a person, no matter how small.
And then I also played in like the Guys and Dolls.
That was the guy who gave us the soundboard said that.
Yeah, that's true. Wow. Shout out to Drew.
So what would you change, Tom?
Me? Oh, well, obviously we're going to party hard. But
wait, but didn't you already do that?
I did.
Yeah, I started.
Honestly,
I started giving him beer.
I would probably
allegedly
buckle down and try to pass the 2 APs I didn't.
Isn't it
I
buckle
didn't
up?
Have to do. Well, I guess it all doesn't matter though in the end anyway, doesn't it?
Do you know what?
It doesn't. No. Oh, see, you're trying to change things and be like, oh, I would like get college credit so that I'm not as much in debt or some shit. Like, doesn't matter.
He can do that.
Once the simulation.
No, the genie says he can do that.
Sorry, you're not the genie, Luke. I'm
the
sorry.
genie's decided he can do that.
So there's no rules.
No, the rules are.
What are the rules?
They change arbitrarily.
Are the rules? What are the rules?
No, I know what my regret is. What I would change. I'm changing it to regrets now. I know what I would change.
Well, that's such a different question. That's why I tried to get the.
I would go back and I would push even harder to get you to skip your fucking Regents exam to come rage with us at St. Martin.
Because
I told Tommy I made such a good argument.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
That's it.
Joe, as an older brother, you tried to get Tommy to skip his state test.
Yes, correct.
To come party in St. Martin.
Luke,
correct.
Take it in August. That's fine.
That's what I told him. I said take it in August.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
It was August, like the June.
Yeah.
And then
you could just take it in
January.
August.
Yeah, but then you would just keep raging with Joe all summer and fail it.
No, I just wouldn't do well.
He's not an idiot.
I'm not a fucking idiot.
Tommy goes, well, I just wouldn't do well. Like, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, see, he's not an idiot. But I remember telling it, and he's like, no, I have to do it. I was like, Tom, I know you think you have to do it, but trust me, you don't. What I should have done is pinned him down and made him like sign some whatever form. Like I should have physically, because I could have physically overpowered you. Probably.
Did you have a passport at that point?
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. No, you had a passport. I remember.
It's more of one of those definitely things.
I think
like
I
you
did.
either have to like.
I don't know. It's like 5 years.
You're at the
ago.
airport. Like, can we see your passport?
Yeah.
But
But
I might have one.
That's what
like
what I
it.
would change. I would physically make you come. That didn't sound right.
That did not.
That's such a bad sentence.
All right, let's go to
this segment.
Let's
here?
go to Blazing. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna switch to the Blazing Wings now. As we promised, we're going to.
Oh, we're gonna do it live.
We're gonna eat the wings
Yeah.
live.
Can we pause though? I need
Let's take
to
a pee break.
I think pee break.
Oh,
and
that
then
works,
water.
yeah.
Get another water.
Yeah, we need to
Couple
restock,
set of
yeah.
waters.
And then
yeah.
we're gonna do this live.
And then we're gonna
which
come
is
back
in, like,
live,
one
yeah.
So,
second.
We're gonna come
in
back
terms
hard
of your
live.
experience commuting to work, we'll be back in a second.
Yeah.
But for us,
Oh, man,
we're
time
gonna
travel's
pee
sick.
and
We're gonna be
all
like
that.
that.
What a crazy world! It's like when you
Luke's
listen.
not ready for Blazing.
It's like when you listen to Radiolab, you're like, hey, they recorded this for like a year and
Yeah.
like stitched it together. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck this. All right, see you on the other side of peeing.
Giddy up.
You keep saying pee. Just hit pause.
Even last episode, I said pee. Remember, I left the room. I'm like, I'm going to pee. You're like, fine.
I'm like, keep going.
Keep going.
Oh god.
All right,
Man,
we're going.
These 1 second pauses are fantastic.
What second?
These 1 second pauses, they go by so quick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's so easy.
It's so trippy, right?
Yeah.
You were
It's
just
so
in your
weird.
car and you heard a beep, and now
Yeah.
all of a sudden we're back.
Let me
Even
ask you-
though, like, we just went downstairs. We set some slug traps downstairs.
We did set.
We peed.
We did set some slug lures.
We
Yeah.
used one of our Miller Lights and set a slug trap with it.
That's a whole other episode we have to get into.
Look at
That we have beer slug traps to deal with our slug
I
problem.
mean, you go grocery shopping.
It's a studio mango issue. Yeah.
You buy a 12 of Miller. And
You
then,
figure
like,
2 are for the slugs.
two are
It's,
for the slugs.
it's sacrificed to the slug god.
sacrificial slugs.
Oh God, we're already not making sense.
Oh man, and I'm just
Luke pre-gamed by having the last mango habanero because he thought that was a good
there was
idea.
one more mango habanero, and I'm thinking like I'm hungry, and
I could do it.
I've been going to the gym a lot, and like
He sounds
working up an appetite, and like I ate like a salad at Whole Foods, and I was like, this is not like enough
Yeah.
for like. Luke.
Let me ask you an important question before we continue. Is it recording?
Yeah, it's going.
Okay.
All right,
Are
so
you ready?
we're about to eat Buffalo Wild Wings.
Hottest
wing.
Blazing,
The blazing.
baby.
Are you ready for
Blazing.
this?
No.
Okay.
All right, let's
All
go.
right,
I'm not
Giddy
ready.
So
up.
we're gonna try not to eat into the mic, but bear with us through some silence as we chew and swallow and whatever. Everybody have their question lined up before we start eating.
Vaguely.
Actually, I have to think of mine because like I forget what it was. To be perfectly honest, Tommy, do you have your?
I do.
Uh,
I have mine.
Give me.
I have mine.
You guys riff for 30 seconds. I got to think of mine. Or actually, if you guys go first, I'll think of mine as we go. But the problem is, I have a feeling once I bite that wing, I'm not going to think of anything.
That's your problem. That's not a
that's the
me
point,
problem.
right?
That's a you problem.
All
right, you
okay,
ready?
I got one. I got to back up if I have to use
All
it.
right.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Fun. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Wing cheers.
Cheers. Okay.
All right.
Let's do
Oh,
this.
God,
Oh
why are we doing this?
Why are we doing this?
It tastes bad. Like it's going to be bad. I can tell.
That's battery acid.
I can tell it's going to be bad.
Yeah. Oh God.
What's the policy? Should we finish the wing or should we just take a bite?
Jesus Christ.
Are we going to finish the wing or take a bite?
Keep going.
Keep going?
Yeah.
All right, finish the wing.
Oh my God. My
It's not that
trachea
bad.
burns right now.
It's not that bad.
I
Luke
inhaled
already
by
ate his.
What the fuck?
What did you do? There is ghost pepper in this.
I know. Oh, God. We're not doing anything yet. Oh, this is what happens when I eat hot shit. Like, this is the line I hate crossing. Like, I'm just annoyed right
It's
now.
not that bad.
I'm sweating, man.
No, this is what
It's
happened.
actually
to me.
really good.
This happened to me at a restaurant. My friend,
Fuck.
my friend,
It's not that bad.
my friend put the hottest sauce
Don't
they
you
had.
keep eating.
This is really bad.
It just tastes bad.
Oh, God.
God. Oh God.
Oh, I got it.
I'm going back in.
Oh, it's not that bad.
You got to keep water on your tongue.
Why
I can't see. Wait.
It's not that bad.
I can't. I'm gonna try and talk with beer on my tongue.
It's not that bad. It's really not that bad if you just keep
Look,
eating.
I'm crying. Look. This is not fair.
Oh shit. Just leave it.
I can't do any more of that. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God. So,
I'm done.
my first question is if you could hook up with one presidential candidate, which would
Tulsi
it,
Gabbard.
no,
Done.
which would it be? Which would it be? But you also get $1,000 per percentage that they're polling. So if you pick Tulsi Gabbard, you get $1,000 cash. If you pick Biden, you get like $34,000 cash. So which would you pick?
Who's in first? Who's in first?
Biden, he's making
Come here,
34.
Biden, baby.
You would make a Biden baby?
Give me that money.
Who would you pick?
Tulsi.
You would pick Tulsi. You would only get $1,000. You would get $1,000.
Oh fuck.
If you pick Biden, if you pick Bernie, you could get like
Wait, how much am I getting with Biden?
30 grand. He's pulling at like 30%.
What am I doing to him? What am I doing to him?
You have to bang him.
I got some of it stuck in my teeth. It just keeps releasing.
That's what she said.
I would bang Tulsi. It's the answer to all the questions from now on.
Still.
What's your biggest regret? I'd bang Tulsi.
Okay, what's your question?
I need to get this out of my teeth.
All right, what's your question, Tom?
I can't even talk.
I would bang. I think I would go middle of the road. I would probably bang like Booker and take like $8 grand.
That's such a weirdly like confident answer. That means you've calculated like I'm cool banging Booker's asshole. Like, it'll be just like having anal sex with a girl, like whatever. Whereas banging Joe Biden's asshole would be like having sex with your sock, you know? Like an old sock where the elasticity's gone.
It's too loose.
I used to do that as a kid. Not bang Joe Biden.
That doesn't make it better necessarily.
I mean, like, I used to bang like an old sock and I would just like throw it behind my bed. And like the amount of dried cum that was in the tip of that sock by the time that thing was over. Oh, God. Oh, God.
How long are you taking that? It dried.
I'm unzipped.
Oh, all right. I'm on the other side of it.
Are you?
We got 2 more winks. Should we save them for the drunk tank?
Yeah, definitely. Jesus fucking Christ.
All right, so here's my main complaint about
I'm
that.
still on fire, right?
I'm on fire, but I'm now at the manageable point.
I feel like if
I
I
think
were...
it was good we did that on air because, like,
I wouldn't know to hit
I wasn't
start.
exaggerating. That was really bad. And I was a little bit upset by this. How many levels down was Habanero from this? 2, right?
Yeah, this was like 20
we skipped
levels.
1, right?
And we went up like 30 levels.
This is an exponential curve. Did they show that in the graphic? Did they show that in the graphic?
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
I feel like if I could do a lap, I would be fine. Like, if I could go outside right now and just run around the house for 20 minutes, I would be...
If I had, like, ketchup and mustard, like Dumb and Dumber, and I'm just, like, spraying it into my mouth.
Yeah, that would be great. Dude, I'm, like, soaked from crying.
I think the highlight was when you, a little bit too confidently said you would bang Cory Booker.
Did I?
Do you want him to speak Spanish to you, Joe? Does that turn you on? That's my question.
Can we just go to your question?
What's Tommy's?
Luke still has chicken in his teeth.
Okay, hold on.
Hey, another round of waters for me, my friends.
Oh, God.
Between me
please.
and you, Luke, and between Joe, between everybody else listening, have you ever had a dog humping your leg and you waited a few seconds?
Yes. I just want to see what happens.
See what happens for who?
When I was in Colorado, I was petting a
God.
dog named Whiskey.
Story
Oh,
with
God.
Nick's dog. Shout out to Nick. I think he listens to the podcast.
We should call him in for the drunk tank.
I was petting Whiskey, and like we were sitting there having a good time in Colorado at this like cabin. Whiskey's like sitting in my lap, kind of like flipped upside down. I'm petting its stomach, and then I'm like, okay, Whiskey has a hard on, like.
Yeah. And you're like, how do I play this angle?
I could use some whiskey right now.
Oh God.
So what'd you do?
I stopped. I wasn't comfortable like petting a dog while it was like getting off on me.
Why not? All right, you're not prepared to answer that question, clearly. So what's your question?
Tommy's?
No, that'd be an answer.
You didn't answer.
What was
Joe.
Tommy's
I
question?
didn't? What was your question?
All you said was dog humping. You
No,
really
no,
asked
he
it.
said
That's
he
not my
said
question. I said
That's
between
not his
you
question.
and me and Joe and everybody else listening. Has a dog ever been humping your leg
okay.
and you didn't stop him for at least a few seconds?
Yeah. Okay.
And you said yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So you
And you
answered
went-
the
and then you
question.
went into a
And then you
whole
went into a
story
whole
about
other
it,
thing
yeah.
about
Which
how
was-
About
yeah,
more dog
More than-
boner
You're
problems.
you're like,
Sorry
but
to
I
hear
didn't
about it.
I didn't bang a dog basically.
You know what's weird is that female dogs hump you just as much as male dogs.
And they hump male dogs.
Isn't that weird though?
Yeah, Kara's
It's like
dog
the
does
wiring
that,
got crossed where they don't understand, like they don't have dog
Doggy see-
strap-ons.
doggy
and
see-
that certainly doesn't lead to more dogs. Like you don't
Doggy
get
see,
pregnant
doggy
from a
hump.
dog
But they know
strap-on.
like we should be into this. Like it should be a thing.
I think it's just like a muscle impulse. So you just do it. Like sometimes in the morning when I'm waking up,
I'm on board.
I kind of grab my pillow and I find like, you wake up with some morning wood and you're just kind of like, hey, I should fuck something with this. And then you kind of like fully wake up because your alarm's going off and you're like, actually, no, I shouldn't fuck anything. I should go to work because I'm late.
Wait, you didn't eat that. You didn't eat that wing?
There's 2 leftover wings.
Oh, there are?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's what I was saying. For the drunk tank, we might eat that again if we were willing. It actually wasn't.
It was bad.
It was bad, but it wasn't unmanageable.
I didn't die.
Yeah. Meaning, like, it wasn't as bad as last time I did this, but last time it wasn't just a hot wing. I was at a Mexican restaurant, and my friend asked them, like, what's your hottest sauce here? And they went to the back and got something.
Yeah, that's a sign.
Like, that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
And he put a dab of it on a chip and then gave it to me, him, and our other friend. And we both had 15 minutes of, like, leave me alone. I've got to deal with this level.
Yeah, weren't you, like, crying in the bathroom?
Yeah, I went to
your
the
other friend
bathroom.
was just chain smoking cigs outside.
yeah,
like,
Fuck, yeah, that sounds about right.
That's a vibe.
He was just, like, my other friend, Kevin, just
Folks, the stoners have shown up in the parking lot across the street.
church parking lot stoners are
Which
here.
happens every episode.
Throw hot wings at him.
Yeah, like my friend
Whatever.
Kevin was just dealing with the spice by like angrily chain smoking cigarettes. And I was just like dealing with it by crying in the bathroom and being like, make this go away.
Yeah, that hit. You know what's funny is that hit quicker than the mango habanero.
Right away. This one hit.
Way harder. Quicker and harder.
Quicker
yeah.
and harder, yeah.
The other was like a slow up curve.
That's what they called me in high school.
The mango habanero? Or the quick up slope.
I was going to say quicker and harder, but I guess mango.
I like quick. No, I like quick up slope.
Okay.
Okay, my question, leaving out names and details, obviously.
Right. Allegedly.
May or may not.
What's the craziest, or I'm going to leave it a little open-ended.
Yeah.
But what's like the craziest / weirdest / most embarrassing, choose your angle of interpretation, sexual experience you've ever had? And that could be anything from someone walking in on you to, being too drunk to get it up with like whatever you choose. That last one's never happened to me, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just thought.
I think I need another wing.
For this one, I mean,
No, I'm not gonna. I mean, I still have to finish the one I had. Did you finish yours?
I finished mine like not as well as I finished the Asian.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. So that question. Geez. Wait. So worst or like most awkward sexual experience?
Anything you want. Your
Anything in that
interpretation.
realm. It just can't be a positive one. I don't want to hear some
okay.
shit where you're like, we were making love and we looked into each other's eyes and I saw the universe and I felt like I was one. No, none of that shit. I want something where like your dick broke because like, like you fell off the bed or, something like that.
Oh, I have a funny one. Actually, I don't have a funny one. Can it be kind of funny?
Mine's just sad.
It can be.
I set off a smoke alarm once.
What?
Do tell.
Yeah.
I mean, just going
Elaborate.
hard.
The Luke intern genie approves. Keep telling. Keep talking.
Well, so when it's like you're in a room and it's really hot.
I know, dude. I've been in a room so many times. It's
That's the baseline, right? So like when you're
in a room.
All right, fine. Let me put it in genie terms. When you're plowing in a room.
Oh, you're saying like the kind of humidity that develops in a sex room?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a wrestling
Musty.
room.
Yeah. So
like when you go into the wrestling room and you're like, you guys sitting here for 3 hours and just like practice wrestling? Mm-hmm. Like that's a sport?
Yeah, brother.
yeah.
Yeah. And the only difference between wrestling and sex is like you usually don't get staph infections from
Right.
sex.
Yeah. Usually. So that was probably
Pass me a water.
That was probably the weirdest one. Was that we set off the smoke alarm in the room because it was just so whatever. Like I didn't know that sex could set off smoke alarms, but
No,
like
there's no way you set off the smoke alarm with sex.
we did.
Candles?
Nope.
Incense? Nothing?
Nope. No incense. No candles. It was very clearly.
Steamy
Were
dick?
you rubbing sticks together for lubricant?
we were rubbing. Don't you worry about that.
It was gay sex.
Anyways, it was Cory Booker.
I knew it.
No, but what was funny was that like because the smoke alarm went off, and then everybody else in the house was like, "What the fuck?" And so we had to like come out and be like, "Oh yeah, the fire alarm went off."
But you didn't have candles or anything?
No,
So what made the fire alarm go off? Like, there's no way steamy sex makes
dude. Yes,
fire
it does.
alarms go off.
Yes, it does. True
Bullshit.
story. True story. I'll get a testimonial if you need it.
No, I don't want a testimonial from. How would you get a testimonial?
I'll get a written statement.
From the person you used to bang that set off a smoke alarm with you?
Yeah, that's right.
Is this going to be like you're calling my bluff?
No, I'm serious. I'll get you a written testimonial if you need a written testimonial. But
I'm good.
But that was like the weirdest because it was just like everybody else in the house was like, "Oh, wait, what's going on?" And
Like is someone cooking or
and
was it a house with like a kitchen like that?
And we didn't have the wherewithal to say, "Oh, yeah, it was candles," and we were just like, "Oh, we accidentally set off the smoke alarm," and everybody was kind of like, "What? What are you doing?" And then they're like, they kind of looked at each other like, because
They think they know, but they're like, "Wow."
Well, they heard clearly, so they were like, "Also, how do you do that? Like, again, as you say, how is that possible?
Yeah.
To set off a smoke alarm that way?" But it is possible. So it is possible, kids. If you really go out and achieve, you can get the job of your dreams and set off smoke alarms having sex. So
That's like your post I just dealt with. This
pretty good.
Hottest wing.
yeah, pretty much.
Pretty good, man.
All right, Tommy, what do you got?
I'm like fatigued from that wing.
Yeah, I'm like.
Aren't you like
I
drained
kind of
right
feel
now?
like I just did a shift at a job.
I was gonna say like I kind of feel like I just had sex and set off a fire alarm.
I kind of feel like I just worked like a shift in the mine shaft or something, Like I just feel like,
No, you don't. You don't know what a mine shaft is like.
oh, you would say that.
Yeah, I did.
Luke's been deep in plenty of mine shafts.
Tommy, what's your answer to my question?
Well, I like that one. I probably can't one up that one. So I was fucking blasted, allegedly.
Allegedly.
And so I'm a gentleman, dog. You know me. You know me.
Did you say
Why are you
dog?
Why are you going
I'm
to Joey
channeling
Diaz?
Joey.
Yeah,
mode?
you sound like Joey
Yeah,
Diaz.
that's the point.
Listen, man, I'm a gentleman dog. Which is like his
I fucked her with
cue
my
to
blue
say,
cheese.
Like,
He's
let me just tell you how I fucked a girl in the ass with blue cheese as lube, but I'm a gentleman dog. Let me tell you something,
much,
yeah.
And my dick went kind of soft halfway through, so I put a popsicle stick taped to the side of it to help that soldier out.
Right up.
Give it a little extra.
Blue cheese or go fuck your mother. That's all I'm saying. So, I'm blasted, allegedly, and, we're getting into it. I start, doing my thing for her because I'm being nice. And, I'm gone.
I love your
So
commentary on it. Because I'm being nice.
I'm a gentleman. Go fuck your mother.
It's
like, what do you mean? Because I'm being nice.
Like, in the middle of it, I'm kind of just like, I'm good on this. And we stop. And I play it off, and then I go downstairs and throw up for about 45 minutes.
You were that drunk.
I was way allegedly.
So she
I threw up
saved. So she
allegedly.
saved you.
How so?
I didn't listen to the story.
No, not at all.
You were.
I was texting some chicks.
It's apropos.
Yeah, exactly.
Were you? How close were you to throwing up into her vagina?
It was like walking a line.
You hear how high his voice rises? It was close.
He's like, maybe that's the reason I went downstairs because I thought this might happen any second.
Yeah, it's like I should probably for like a while. I'm kind of thinking about, which
Yeah,
isn't
I'm
something
good
you
for a
should be
while,
thinking
yeah.
about during that. You should be thinking about anything else.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad
Depends on
thing to
what
be
the-
thinking about either,
Yeah.
if that's what you have to be thinking about. So I thought,
Well, you know what they
let's
say: you
cut
win
this
some, you
off.
lose some.
let's cut this off. And
I love saying like cliche sentences
Yeah.
that don't really apply.
Yeah.
So he's talking about like, oh, I was eating the pussy of this girl, and then like I felt sick, and I ended up throwing up, and I'm like, well, you win some, you lose some. It's like, does that really apply there?
Yeah.
Like-
Well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah, it's like, is the gander the vagina? Like, what?
Yeah. Are you the goose? Like,
Is this Top Gun? Are you like?
So, I was doing that and yada, yada, yada. I slept great that
Whoa, 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 whoa! You just yada yada over the good part.
no, the good part was throwing up, not in her vagina.
Yeah. It was a win-win.
that is-
Did you ask a question?
That was my question. Dude.
Jesus Christ. All right, I think I'm good.
You asked a question, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I think I asked mine.
All right. I think we survived. That's what matters here.
I mean, there's still two there.
Are you ready for Drunk Tank?
Yeah, we should drunk tank. We have 2 more wings.
So thank you for joining us on this first ever Hot Wings challenge. I shouldn't say Hot Ones challenge. That's copyrighted.
That's copyrighted.
So that was a joke.
We do want to
first
thank.
ever
We
Hot
do
Wings
want to thank
challenge.
Buffalo Wild Wings for sponsoring this episode.
We do want to. No, we don't. That's also. We do want to thank Buffalo Wild Wings.
Imagine they get like cancel cultured because of us.
That would be great.
And they're like, we never even hired them. And everyone like gets outraged, and we're like, yeah, we just made it up. Like, and then they sue us, and we have to give over the $200 in our Patreon account.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so hopefully we'll be back next week with Johnny Genie in his new satellite studio in Portland.
Nice.
Yep.
Across the ocean.
And other than that, if you want to keep hearing us, Drunk Tank is available on Patreon.
Well, we say this in the exit,
rolling.
right?
We do, but I'm saying it now too because
teaser.
You should. I've been.
We're gonna
told,
get drunker and eat more
I've
wings.
been
So
told
you should
by many fans that their favorite part of our podcast is the Drunk Tank.
In fact, our last episode, one of our fans tweeted at us, "Wait, no drunk tank?"
Ooh.
And here's the thing: even for our fans that donate on Patreon, you gotta tease them a little bit. You know, as
Level up
Tommy
the
would
dub-dub.
say, you gotta make them think you're gonna throw up into their vagina, but then not really do it.
That's not what he said.
Right? Yeah.
Not what he said for the record. Yeah.
All right, what did you say? I forget. What
It
was the
does-
lesson? Is this one of Aesop's fables?
What he said was
don't ruin it.
what he said was like, share, and
You
imbibe.
jump right to the moral.
It's
You
called
skip
like the
whole
fox
story.
and the gander. Like, and
Oh,
then
God.
the moral is don't
Yeah,
throw up into someone's vagina.
Let's do that
the
in drunk tank.
fox
Tell our
that-
All right,
children's stories.
Yeah, we'll do Aesop's fables in the drunk.
Yeah,
tank.
it's a drunk
All right.
tank topic.
We're gonna eat the rest of these
Love
hot
it.
wings.
Tell Aesop's fables.
Tell
Thank you
some
for joining
Aesop's
us.
fables.
It's been a good Thunk Tank podcast. I think this was pretty successful.
No, you thunk it's pretty successful.
I thunk it was pretty successful.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
And
Thunk you later.
we can't hang up on ourselves. So
Oh shit!
Johnny, we miss you. If you listen to this,
Don't get dysentery on the Oregon Trail.
yeah, or mostly just don't crash your car.
Yeah, that too.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening to the Thunk Tank podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to help us out, please consider leaving a rating or a review wherever you listen to podcasts and share it with people you think might like it. And if you really want to support us, you can go over to patreon.com/ThunkTankPodcast. We have links to this in the episode description and other places. And for as little as $1 an episode, you can help us keep the lights on. And you also get access to a very special Drunk Tank feed of episodes. So every few episodes, we'll have a few more beers and record an extra 20 to 30 minutes of extra thunky, silly whateverness. So there's a separate RSS link you can get from there, and if you put that into a podcast player, you'll get your own separate feed of only the Drunk Tanks. I think we have about 6 or 7 of them out already, and more to come. Thanks for listening, and stay funky.